Welcome back, everyone. CKD, or chronic kidney disease, is the fastest growing non-communicable disease in the United States. Unfortunately, it's also a silent killer. That means there are no symptoms of the disease until the later stages. It's particularly devastating in the African American community. 2 out of 10 African Americans have CDK, and it can progress to end-stage kidney disease. Dr. Audrey Henderson is with me today. She's here along with Arvella Robinson. Arvella is the president of the Eta Theta Zeta Foundation, and Dr. Henderson is the medical director. You all want to talk about what the foundation does and the sorority to spread awareness, right, Arvella?
Yes, we are. Eta Theta Zeta chapter, our whole commitment is to get life into the community, making sure that our everyone in the CSRA get information to knowing where to go and who to talk with. Mm-hmm. And it is our stage. We are really combined with our chapter, Eta Theta Zeta chapter, a Zeta Phi Beta sorority. And our goal is we are a non-profit organization, and we are seeking help. Our program with health, educational.
Yeah.
And we want to spread the good news to everyone.
Well, and it's important. You know, one of the things that people need to know, Dr. Henderson, is what some of the warning signs of CDK are. And they include foamy urine, swelling in the leg, and unusual fatigue.
Yes. But those are late signs.
Those are late signs, okay.
So we don't want patients to progress to
get that
point.
Okay. What is the APOL1 gene?
That is a gene that every human being has. The interesting thing about that gene is many years ago in sub-Saharan Africa, there was a disease called sleeping sickness that was deadly. And so that gene changed in order to protect that population from that disease. Unfortunately, here we are in many years later, and we're finding out that change in that gene, which is called a variant, causes chronic kidney disease or can put a person at risk for chronic kidney disease. Is
there some kind of testing for people to find out if they have the gene?
Yes, there is. There's a saliva test. There's also blood tests. The important thing to know about that is just because you have that gene variant doesn't mean that you're going to progress to chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
Only 20% of the patients who test positive for that variant actually develop chronic kidney disease. But the thing is, we don't know who's going to progress and who's not. So anybody who has that variant needs to be followed closely.
And what do you suggest for people who are, they need to, I guess, make a plan to start with their doctor?
Exactly. The patients who would be at risk are patients who have diabetes, high blood pressure, even patients with sickle cell, lupus, even patients who've had problems with their kidneys in the past but have recovered. Those are the patients that need to be followed closely. And when I say closely, perhaps, you have high blood pressure and you see your doctor maybe every 6 months. Well, if you have this variant, perhaps you need to be followed every 3 months.
Okay.
And perhaps now maybe you just get your blood work once a year. If you have this variant, you may need to get your blood work every 6 months.
It's also, we can hardly talk about this without mentioning that African Americans make up 13% of the population, but 35% of dialysis patients.
Correct.
That's a third.
That's right. That's right. And this gene is one reason why that the African American population is at increased risk of progressing so rapidly to what we call end-stage renal disease, which is where you'll have to have dialysis or a transplant.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wish we had more time. This is all fascinating, but you can learn more by contacting these women, contacting the sorority. We've got that information coming up in just a second, but first I want to thank Dr. Audrey Henderson and Arvella Robinson for sharing this information with us today. And here's what you need to know if you'd like to contact them. For more information, you'll want to contact Betty Bryant. You can reach her at P.O. Box 1479, Augusta 30903, or you can find them on Facebook at Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Eta Theta Zeta Chapter.